Welcome back to Dinar Community Channel. In an unprecedented turn of events, the financial and currency exchange community was shaken today by the release of exclusive video footage showing what many have speculated about for years, the first public exchanges of the Iraqi Dinar (IQD) at revalued rates. This moment, once thought to be nothing more than a distant dream for investors and currency watchers, is now playing out in real time before the world's eyes. The captured scenes, taken discreetly yet with crystal clear quality, have ignited a frenzy across social media platforms, financial forums, and newsrooms globally. The footage, reportedly recorded inside a high-security metropolitan bank branch, shows individuals calmly entering private exchange rooms and emerging with verified documentation in hand, official bank-issued receipts reflecting exchange rates that, until recently, would have been dismissed as mere speculation. Multiple frames clearly show rate boards displaying figures never before seen in the public domain for the IQD, sparking intense debate about whether the long-anticipated global currency revaluation (RV) has officially begun. What makes this footage particularly compelling is not just the clarity of the images, but the undeniable authenticity of the environment. Security guards in full uniform, high-ranking bank staff escorting clients, and even the bank's internal exchange counters are visible. Viewers can make out the distinctive features of currency verification equipment, digital rate display boards, and even branded transaction envelopes, all lending credibility to what might otherwise have been dismissed as yet another fake news claim in the speculative currency world. Within hours of the video surfacing, online forums dedicated to the IQD community exploded with commentary, with veteran investors calling this the confirmation we've been waiting for, and skeptics conceding that the visual evidence is difficult to dispute. Several witnesses, claiming to have been present during the exchanges shown, provided matching testimonies. Security was tight, appointment lists were cross-checked against pre-approved rosters, and exchange rates far exceeded the long-standing market value. Reports suggest that individuals were being offered rates exceeding $4 per dinar, though some whispered figures of over $5, depending on the contractual arrangements and exchange packages negotiated. Adding to the credibility of the event, at least two individuals in the footage can be seen carrying official Central Bank of Iraq exchange confirmation slips, complete with transaction stamps and the signature of authorized bank officers. These are the very documents often discussed in currency circles but rarely seen outside private hands. Screenshots of these documents have now been extracted from the footage and are circulating online, with independent analysts verifying the formatting, watermarking, and serial number patterns as consistent with known Iraqi banking standards. The timing of this footage could not be more significant. In recent weeks, insider leaks and anonymous tips had suggested that certain banks in key financial hubs were preparing for limited IQD exchanges before a broader public rollout. The speculation centered on testing phases, where the first waves of pre-approved individuals, often high-volume holders or long-term investors, would be processed to assess security protocols, exchange flow, and rate adjustments. This newly emerged video seems to capture exactly such a moment, lending weight to the theory that what we are seeing is part of a staggered, tightly controlled launch strategy. Eyewitnesses interviewed after the exchange sessions described a meticulous and almost ceremonial process. Clients were required to present multiple forms of identification, pass through restricted security zones, and undergo thorough verification of their currency holdings. The dinar notes themselves were scanned, authenticated, and entered into the bank's system before being assigned a specific transaction batch. Following this, clients were escorted to private consultation rooms, where exchange rates and settlement terms were presented. Several described the atmosphere as calm but charged with anticipation, a once-in-a-lifetime event unfolding in a discreet but unforgettable way. The banks involved, at least from what can be identified in the footage, appear to be major international institutions with the infrastructure to handle large-scale foreign currency exchanges. Observers have pointed out familiar logos and branding within the footage that suggest participation from US-based banks as well as internationally recognized financial firms. If this is accurate, it marks the first confirmed instance of globally integrated banking institutions openly handling revalued IQD transactions. The ripple effect of this revelation has already begun to manifest in the wider markets. Currency speculation indices showed a sharp uptick in IQD-related searches and trading activity within hours of the footage release. Financial analysts who had previously dismissed the IQD revaluation theory as fringe speculation are now being pressed to re-evaluate their positions in light of undeniable visual evidence. Several are cautioning that while the footage is compelling, it may represent a limited pilot program rather than a full public launch. However, others insist that such pilots are themselves the final step before an unrestricted rollout, meaning the public could be mere days away from accessing the same rates shown in the video. Interestingly, the individuals filmed exiting the bank were notably discreet. Most avoided direct interaction with the camera, yet their facial expressions ranged from composed relief to outright elation. A few were seen making phone calls immediately after leaving the premises, gesturing emphatically, possibly relaying the news to close contacts or arranging follow-up financial decisions. None appeared to be carrying large amounts of cash. Instead, they seemed to rely on formal banking instruments such as deposit receipts, transfer confirmations, and secured checks, a sign that the exchanges are being handled with utmost professionalism and compliance with anti-money laundering protocols. The release of this footage also raises immediate questions about how the information got out. Security in such operations is typically airtight, and unauthorized filming is often prohibited under penalty of severe legal consequences. This suggests that the person who captured the footage either had legitimate access to the premises or was willing to risk substantial repercussions to leak it. Some in the IQD community are speculating that the leak may have been intentional, a strategic move to prepare the broader market psychologically for what is about to unfold. Government reaction so far has been minimal but telling. While no official agency has confirmed or denied the authenticity of the footage, several insiders within the financial regulation sector have hinted that controlled transparency could be part of the plan moving forward. In other words, releasing such footage could serve to ease public skepticism, manage expectations, and subtly inform global financial actors that the IQD is transitioning into its new market reality. For those who have been holding onto their dinar for years, weathering skepticism and sometimes outright ridicule, these images carry a profound emotional weight. Social media is now flooded with posts from longtime investors expressing gratitude, excitement, and a sense of vindication. Many are openly declaring this is the beginning of the end of speculation, a transition into confirmed financial history. From a macroeconomic perspective, the implications are vast. If the footage accurately depicts the first wave of public IQD exchanges at revalued rates, this could mark the largest currency value adjustment in modern history. The influx of capital to certain regions, combined with the potential economic resurgence in Iraq, could have ripple effects across international trade, investment portfolios, and even geopolitical alignments. Iraq's strengthened currency could open the door for increased foreign direct investment, greater import-export balance, and more significant influence in regional economic negotiations. Banks themselves stand to benefit enormously from such an event. Currency exchanges at higher rates generate substantial profit margins, especially if structured through negotiated contract rates or tiered exchange packages. For major institutions, this is an opportunity not only to profit but also to position themselves as the go-to financial partners for new high-net-worth clients emerging from the IQD exchange process. On the flip side, there are immediate warnings circulating within the community. Financial advisors and seasoned investors are cautioning that with public confirmation of exchanges, opportunists and scammers will be out in force. Fake exchange offers, phishing schemes, and counterfeit currency verification operations are likely to proliferate as news spreads. Experts are urging holders to deal only with officially recognized banking institutions and to avoid any entity that cannot provide verifiable credentials and secure facilities. The psychological dimension of this development should not be underestimated. For many, the IQD revaluation was a dream rooted in patience, belief, and the willingness to stand against mainstream doubt. Now, with undeniable proof emerging, those same investors are experiencing a complex mix of relief, joy, and urgent decision-making. Financial planners are already reporting an influx of calls from clients seeking immediate guidance on how to manage sudden, substantial wealth. One of the more remarkable aspects of this footage is the level of professionalism and calm displayed by both bank staff and clients. There is no chaos, no long queues spilling into public areas, no overheated scenes of mass hysteria. Instead, the exchanges appear to be conducted with precision timing, limited numbers, and a focus on client privacy. This suggests a highly coordinated operation, one designed to process significant transactions without triggering disruptive attention. As analysts pore over the footage frame by frame, additional details continue to emerge. One segment shows a bank officer sliding a rate sheet across the table to a client, the top line clearly reading, Iraqi Dinar, USD exchange. Though the camera angle partially obscures the figures, enhancement software used by independent reviewers has managed to isolate numbers consistent with the rumored $4 plus exchange rate. Another frame shows a client signing what appears to be a non-disclosure agreement, potentially explaining why so few first-hand accounts have been made public until now. In the coming days, this footage is almost certain to dominate financial news cycles. The global markets will be watching closely for corroborating evidence from other locations, while intelligence agencies and economic policy makers assess the broader implications. Whether this represents a limited release, a pilot program, or the full public launch, the fact remains, for the first time in history, there is indisputable visual proof that revalued IQD exchanges are taking place in a formal, public banking environment. If the patterns of past currency adjustments hold true, the next phase will involve rapid scaling. Once the logistical framework is proven to work, the number of participating banks will increase, the appointment windows will widen, and eventually, open public exchanges could begin. When that happens, the rush will be historic, potentially overwhelming initial capacity and requiring staggered scheduling to maintain order. For now, the footage stands as a watershed moment, a piece of history caught on camera, showing what many believed they might never witness in their lifetime. For the patient, the believers, and the steadfast, it is more than just a transaction at a bank. It is the physical manifestation of years of anticipation, strategy, and unshakable confidence in a currency that has journeyed from the depths of war-torn devaluation to the threshold of global financial respect. The next few weeks will determine how quickly the doors open for the broader public. But one thing is certain, the genie is out of the bottle. The world has seen the first public IQD exchanges, and no amount of silence or official caution can erase that fact. The cameras have caught history in motion, and from this point forward, the conversation has irrevocably shifted from speculation to reality. Like and subscribe for more videos.